All right, Jordan Furby joining us from ABC5 there in Des Moines. You know, Jordan, I would love to get your take on the Buckeyes of Ohio State. It's one of the great programs in college football. Of course, you're an Ohio guy and know it very well. So just your thoughts about the Buckeyes coming into this season. The expectations are always ridiculous. The talent loss is always ridiculous, but the incoming talent is just as ridiculous. So the Buckeyes come in again looking like a top 5 team.
Yeah, it really is interesting. Not many teams could get manhandled 31-0 in a playoff game and come back into expectations the next year, expecting to maybe go undefeated again. That's just the expectation that Urban Meyer has brought into Columbus, which is just unbelievable. As an admitted Buckeye fan, born and raised in Columbus, Ohio, to have gone through the Tressel years in what was very successful to now Urban Meyer, it's really an embarrassment of riches. I mean, the team is just dripping with 4- and 5-star talent. You're going to see probably 3 defensive secondary guys go in the first round of the NFL draft, and they don't look like they're going to be missing a beat. And, oh, by the way, they just brought in Indiana's former coach as their new offensive coordinator, in addition to having Greg Schiano as their defensive coordinator, who they brought in last year. So Kevin Wilson should really spark that offense that I know a lot of people were probably disappointed in last year, especially after having such a good season in 2014. I think last year you really didn't know who the offensive coordinator was between Tim Beck and Ed Warner. There was the whole thing in 2015 about, well, is Warner going to be on the field or is he going to be in the press box? So I think now you have an offensive coordinator who knows what he's doing. Just hearing from other writers and everything as far as what other Big Ten coaches think of Kevin Wilson, it's a home run hire for Urban Meyer. And I think it's probably exactly what this offense needed, because if you look at JT Barrett, who will be the starting quarterback, I know some people have thought that somebody else could come in and take over, but Barrett is the assumed starter. His completion percentage has kind of gone down every year since he's been the starter. Now, some of that has been Barrett, but a lot of it has been the wide receiver position. So I think that's going to be the biggest question mark with Wilson is, can he help the offense kind of regain that swagger that we saw in 2014? Because the last 2 years, they haven't had that deep threat. In 2014, it was Devin Smith. Last year, a lot of people thought it was going to be Noah Brown, but he pretty much outside of that Oklahoma game didn't do much for the Buckeyes. So I think if a guy like Ben Victor or any of their other receivers can kind of come in and really stretch the field, that's where you're going to see Ohio State maybe look like the Ohio State of old. Because don't forget, Kevin Wilson, when he was the OC at Oklahoma, I think with him and Sam Bradford, they set the all-time mark for most points ever scored average-wise over a season. So the expectations, as you mentioned, absolutely astronomically high in Columbus. Should be the favorites in the Big Ten, but of course, Penn State, don't count them out. Michigan, I know they have a lot to replace, but it's going to be a battle once again in the East. And let's not count out Michigan State as well.
And Jordan, I've got to say that the aspect you touched upon was the surprise of the season in 2016 for me, where the passing game, Urban Meyer doesn't want to pass the ball much. He wants to maybe run it 60 or 65% of the time, but it's the quality of the passing game that really suffered. And for Ohio State not to be able to replace a Devin Smith or a Jalen Marshall, the deep threat, and Devin Smith was the classic deep threat during that championship run, a guy that would catch a handful of passes or 2 or 3 a game, but they would be game-deciding plays down the field for big plays, and just never were able to find that guy. And as a result, JT Barrett, I don't know if he almost looked injured at times. He couldn't throw the ball down the field, but was that his lack of confidence in the offensive line, his lack of confidence in somebody gaining separation downfield? So they need the passing game to come through, not in 8 or 9 games. They need it in the 3 or 4 crucial games that are going to decide whether they're a championship team or just a really good team that's going to finish in the top 15 in the country. And to speak to your point about the abundance of riches, what team goes from being the youngest group of or Power 5 team in football, so average age in class, youngest team, and you would just think, well, this team that's the youngest, number one, how do they make a college football playoff? Number two, they must all be coming back. No, they're going to have 3 guys in the secondary drafted in the first round of the NFL draft. It's amazing. Jordan
really
from ABC5 joining us to talk college football. Jordan, it's been a pleasure. You're always welcome here. Appreciate the breakdown. We try to cover everyone, so we need guys like you to help us gain some insight.
Absolutely, Mark. Hey, pleasure to be on here and happy to be back again.